and welcome to the SRD Success Podcast. I'm your host, Domi, and today we're discussing the power of self-discipline. Let me introduce you to two people, Sarah and Letty. They both work for the same company, live in relatively similar circumstances, and make the same amount of money. They're very similar in many ways. However, Sarah quickly begins climbing the ranks in her company, while Letty stays in the same position. Suddenly, Sarah has a better job and is making more money. As if that weren't enough, Sarah is much healthier than Letty, running 3 days per week and consistently eating healthy foods. As a result, Sarah feels better than Letty and can participate in many more activities. So what is the difference between Sarah and Letty? Self-discipline. That's it. Sarah simply has more self-discipline than Letty, and it's paying off in every aspect of her life. Who would you rather be? Most of us would choose Sarah because she's the one reaping all the rewards. But if you want to be like Sarah, you have to act like Sarah. In other words, you need self-discipline. If you want to grow in self-discipline, you're in the right place. In this episode, we'll discuss what self-discipline is and why it's so important. We'll also talk about specific concrete things you can do to help you grow in self-discipline. Ready? Let's get started. Before we discuss the roadblocks to self-discipline and how to grow in it, we need to make sure we're all on the same page about what we're talking about when we say self-discipline. For our purposes, we'll define it in this way. Self-discipline is the ability to control your thoughts, feelings, and actions to achieve a specific goal. Let's break this down a little bit. First, self-discipline is a learned ability. It is not something that happens automatically. It is a skill that requires practice and effort to develop. If you want to grow in self-discipline, you're going to need to apply yourself. Second, it involves control. This means being able to harness your thoughts, actions, and feelings. These things don't need to master you. Rather, you are the master of yourself. Self-discipline requires the determination to consistently prioritize what matters most, even when faced with distractions or temptations. Third, it involves your entire person. Self-discipline is not just limited to your actions. Self-discipline also encompasses your thoughts and feelings. Ultimately, you'll never take action if your thoughts and feelings aren't aligned. Lastly, self-discipline is focused on achieving a specific goal. It is not just about being disciplined in general. It is about directing your efforts toward a particular outcome. It's about pursuing the good things that you want to accomplish. Olympian Jesse Owens had this to say about self-discipline. We all have dreams. But in order to make dreams come into reality, it takes an awful lot of determination, dedication, self-discipline, and effort. In other words, if you want to do something great, you need a lot of self-discipline, and that self-discipline needs to be focused on a specific goal. At its core, self-discipline is about developing the self-awareness to identify your goals and values, and the self-control to take action in alignment with them. It's not about brute force or denying yourself pleasure. Rather, it's about making conscious choices that move you closer to the life you desire. You might be asking, what about willpower? Let's clarify the difference between self-discipline and willpower. While often used interchangeably, they're distinct concepts. Self-discipline is the overarching framework for managing your impulses and behaviors consistently. It's a lifestyle, a set of habits that influence your choices across various situations. From your morning routine to your social media habits to your dietary choices. It's about establishing routines and sticking to them, even when you don't feel like it. Willpower, on the other hand, is a more focused, short-term force. It's the mental, emotional, and sometimes physical strength you summon to tackle a specific task or resist a particular temptation in the moment. Think of it as the power you use in a specific situation. A key difference is that willpower is a finite resource. The more you exert it, the more depleted it becomes. That's why resisting temptation can feel harder and harder throughout the day. That last task feels overwhelming. That last piece of cake irresistible. It's helpful to think of willpower like a muscle. It gets weaker with use, but it can also be strengthened. And this is where self-discipline comes in. Self-discipline is the training regimen that builds your willpower. The more disciplined you are in establishing healthy habits and routines, the more resilient your willpower becomes. Self-discipline is the foundation upon which a strong willpower is built. They work together in a synergistic relationship. Consistent self-discipline increases your overall willpower capacity, giving you more to draw on when you need it most. Now that we're all on the same page about what self-discipline is, let's talk about the benefits of it. There are so many benefits of self-discipline that it's hard to list them all. Self-discipline impacts almost all of your life, improving each area it touches. Self-discipline can transform your career, finances, health, personal growth, and relationships. Want to grow your career and minimize setbacks? Then focus on developing self-discipline. Self-discipline is essential for completing tasks, meeting deadlines, and achieving goals. It also helps you stay focused, motivated, and productive in the workplace. Additionally, self-discipline helps you develop the skills necessary to succeed in your career. It's what drives you to earn additional certifications, attend training seminars, and take on new challenges. Self-discipline can also help you manage work-related stress and avoid burnout. It's what enables you to leave work at a reasonable hour and avoid pulling all-nighters in order to meet deadlines. Without self-discipline, your career becomes a series of hills and valleys, with little room for growth and development. But by prioritizing self-discipline, you can achieve greater success in your career and reach new heights. Self-discipline is also essential for financial security and achieving your financial goals. Financial temptation is everywhere, and it's not difficult to secure a credit card these days. Without discipline, you may find yourself spending beyond your means and racking up significant debt. Want to maintain a budget? It takes discipline. Want to save for retirement or a large purchase? That also requires self-discipline. By controlling your impulses and staying disciplined, you can make wise financial decisions and set yourself up for long-term financial success. Self-discipline gives you financial peace of mind. It creates a path for you to follow, leading you toward financial security. Self-discipline is also crucial for maintaining good physical and mental health. Discipline is what pushes you to exercise regularly, eat well, and get enough sleep. Without self-discipline, it's easy to give in to unhealthy habits that can negatively impact your well-being. Additionally, self-discipline can help you overcome challenges related to health issues. For example, if you have a chronic illness that requires a strict treatment regimen, self-discipline is essential for sticking to the routine and managing your condition effectively. In terms of mental health, self-discipline can help you develop healthy coping mechanisms and manage stress more productively. It's also necessary to keep a positive attitude and avoid negative thought patterns that can harm your overall well-being. A lack of self-discipline can wreak havoc on your body. It can lead to weight gain, chronic health problems, and a decline in mental health. By practicing self-discipline and making healthy choices, you can maintain good physical and mental health for the long run. What about for personal growth? You may not know it, but you are absolutely bursting with potential. You have skills, gifts, and talents just waiting to be unlocked. Self-discipline is the key to unlocking that potential and realizing your true capabilities. Self-discipline enables you to set goals and work towards achieving them. It gives you the determination and perseverance to overcome obstacles and stay focused on your personal growth journey. It helps you develop new skills, improve existing ones, and reach new heights in all areas of your life. What's more, self-discipline encourages self-reflection and introspection. By practicing discipline, you can identify areas of improvement, acknowledge your strengths and weaknesses, and make necessary changes to become the best version of yourself. Finally, you may not have realized it, but self-discipline is also essential for maintaining healthy relationships. It's only through self-discipline that you can be reliable as a friend. Few things are more frustrating than an unreliable friend, and self-discipline is what keeps you showing up again and again. Self-discipline is what allows you to follow through on your commitments and be trustworthy. If you want people to take your words seriously, you need to have self-discipline. You also need self-discipline to communicate effectively and work through conflict. By staying calm and collected, You can approach difficult conversations with a clear mind and find solutions instead of escalating the situation. Additionally, discipline provides you with the tools you need to manage boundaries. With self-discipline, you can set boundaries that are respectful to yourself and others. This helps maintain healthy relationships by ensuring that all parties involved feel respected and valued. Hopefully, by this point, you can see the incredible benefits that self-discipline provides. It can literally change your life in so many ways. But here's the thing. If you want to make self-discipline a central part of your life, you need to commit to it. As we noted earlier, self-discipline doesn't happen by accident. It takes conscious effort and dedication to develop the habit. You need to make a choice to prioritize self-discipline in your daily life. If you look at the life of almost any great man or woman, you'll see that self-discipline is an integral part of how they live. President Harry S. Truman said, "In reading the lives of great men, I found that the first victory they won was over themselves." Self-discipline with all of them came first. Will you make self-discipline an integral part of your life? Will you achieve your goals, or will you consistently find yourself frustrated and falling short? The choice is yours. The good news is that no matter where you are in your journey, it's never too late to start developing self-discipline. It's a skill that can be learned and strengthened with practice. The first step is to find your why. If you're going to be self-disciplined, you need to know why you're doing it. When you don't know why you want to do something, you'll quickly lose motivation. Your why is your reason for getting out of bed and always doing the things that are necessary to reach your goals. Let's say your goal is to improve your health in the coming year. Why are you doing that? Maybe it's because you want to be able to spend more time with your kids. If you're healthier, you will have more energy to run around in the backyard. When you're tempted not to be self-disciplined, think back on your why. Remember what got you started in the first place, that initial desire that pushed you to pursue self-discipline. Remembering your why is key to helping you maintain self-discipline and push through the tough times when you're tempted to give up. You also need to identify the specific obstacles that have a significant impact on you, personally. We all have different triggers and shortcomings, and it's important to identify what they are for you. You need to know the things that will push you toward laziness, which can be caused by a lack of self-discipline. So, for example, let's say you're seeking to eat healthier, and you've identified that one of your triggers is stress. Stress makes you want to eat junk food instead of cooking a healthy meal at home. So, when you feel stressed, be on the lookout for it. Notice if you're starting to mindlessly reach for things in the pantry or fridge that aren't good for you. Once you've identified the obstacles, you can create strategies for overcoming them. You need to have a game plan for coping with stress, or whatever your trigger is. One way to cope might be to take a walk. For you, it might help to do some deep breathing exercises or call a friend for support. Whatever it is, make sure you have a plan in place so you can face your obstacle head-on and continue to move toward your goal. Setting up intentional habits can also be tremendously helpful when it comes to building self-discipline. Habits essentially allow you to do certain things on autopilot without spending any of your precious willpower. They enable you to act without much or any effort. For example, brushing your teeth is probably one of your habits. You do it every day at the same time without thinking about it. In fact, it's probably part of a bigger set of habits that make up a routine. If you can replace old, undisciplined habits with new, disciplined ones, you're on your way to self-discipline. So, going back to our healthy eating example, you can start by creating a habit of meal prepping on Sundays. This way, when you feel stressed during the week, you have healthy and nutritious meals ready to go. It's not easy to change habits, so don't get discouraged if it takes some time and effort. It's all about being patient and consistent with your new habits until they become automatic. Changing or improving your environment can also be a huge help in your pursuit of self-discipline. It can propel you forward or hold you back. It can make or break you. So why is your environment so important? Because your environment determines your levels of temptation, which determines how much willpower you need to exert. The more willpower it requires, the easier it will be to lose your self-discipline. Say your goal is to lose 10 pounds over 4 weeks. You spend 8 hours every day in your office. In your office, you have chocolate and you love chocolate. Because of your environment, you must exert willpower all day to resist the temptation. The chocolate makes it tough to be self-disciplined. But if you remove the chocolate from your office, or replace it with healthier snacks, you'll be less tempted and require less willpower to resist. This makes it easier for you to maintain self-discipline and stick to your goal. So, take a look at your environment and see what changes can be made to make it more conducive to self-discipline. Maybe that means decluttering your workspace, having healthy snacks available, or setting up reminders for yourself. Ultimately, creating a positive and supportive environment is essential in building self-discipline. An inhospitable environment is just one of the obstacles that you may face in your pursuit of self-discipline. There are a whole host of obstacles you might face. These are the things that will try to derail you from your path. Some of the most common obstacles include procrastination, the inner critic, distractions, a lack of clear goals, fear, unrealistic expectations, and stress. Procrastination is one of the biggest, hardest obstacles to overcome. It can quickly sabotage your self-discipline efforts and keep you from achieving your goals. What is procrastination? It's delaying or putting off a task or action that needs to be done. It's promising that you'll do it later. It's choosing temporary pleasure over long-term success. There are numerous reasons why we procrastinate. For many people, it's because of fear. Fear of failure, fear of success, or even fear of the unknown. It can also be due to a lack of motivation or feeling overwhelmed by a task. When a task appears beyond your abilities or resources, you're going to be tempted to procrastinate. If you want to develop self-discipline, you need to be keenly aware of the temptation to procrastinate. You need to know what causes you to procrastinate and have strategies to deal with it. To start, you need to identify the cause of your procrastination. Some of the most common causes are fear, feeling overwhelmed, lack of motivation, perfectionism, poor time management, distractions and interruptions, fatigue or lack of energy, indecisiveness, and a lack of clear goals or priorities. Once you've identified what's causing your procrastination, you need to be ruthless in rooting it out. If your task seems overwhelming, break it down into smaller, more achievable tasks. If you're afraid, confront your fear directly. If you're a perfectionist, try to learn to just get started, even if it's not perfect at the beginning. The point is that you have to take action. Procrastination is one of those things that tends to grow the longer you let it go. So, take steps every day to kill procrastination in your life. Don't procrastinate any longer. We'll have an episode in the future that specifically discusses procrastination and more strategies on dealing with it. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. Another obstacle you might face is negative self-talk or the inner critic. You might hear an inner voice saying you can't do something, that it's not worth the effort, or that you're going to fail anyway. These negative thoughts can come from past failures, doubts, insecurities, or even the expectations of others. Negative self-talk will almost always sabotage self-discipline. For example, say you're trying to lose weight. You see a piece of cake on the counter. Negative self-talk tells you that you're never going to lose weight, so you might as well eat the cake. Your discipline goes out the window and you demolish the piece of cake. Your negative self-talk says you're going to fail, so you lose some self-discipline, and then you do fail. So it seems like that inner voice was correct. It's a vicious cycle that turns into a self-fulfilling prophecy. You need to be able to silence your inner critic if you're going to be disciplined. One of the best ways to do that is by adopting positive self-talk. This means reframing negative thoughts and replacing them with positive affirmations. For example, instead of saying, "I'll never be able to do this," say, "I am capable and determined to succeed." Positive self-talk can help you stay motivated and believe in yourself. It also can enable you to keep a positive outlook even when facing challenges. To make it a habit, start by paying attention to your inner dialogue. When you catch yourself thinking negatively, consciously replace those thoughts with positive ones. Over time, your mind will automatically default to positive self-talk. Fear of failure is another factor that can hinder self-discipline. We may be afraid of trying our best and still falling short, so we don't even bother putting in the effort. We may also fear the criticism or judgment of others if we fail. This fear holds us back from taking risks and stepping out of our comfort zones, which are essential for growth and progress. Overcoming fear is essential for building self-discipline. You must be willing to risk failing. You need the guts to go forward even if you might fall short. Stress can also wreak havoc on your self-discipline. When we're stressed, our minds are constantly racing, making it difficult to focus and stay disciplined. It can also lead to emotional eating or other unhealthy coping mechanisms that sabotage our efforts towards self-discipline. To combat stress and maintain self-discipline, it's essential to find healthy ways to manage and cope with stress. There are a variety of ways to do that, from mind and body practices to lifestyle changes. Here are a few methods for coping with stress that I have found to be helpful in my own life. Mindfulness and meditation practices are helpful because they involve focusing in on the present moment and observing your thoughts and feelings without judgment. Even a few minutes a day can reduce your stress and improve your focus. There are a lot of helpful apps on your smartphone that provide guided meditations you can use to help you. Exercise is another powerful stress reliever. Exercising releases endorphins, which have mood-boosting effects, so it's a natural way to relieve stress and improve your mood. The most important thing here is to find an activity you enjoy doing. If you absolutely hate going to the gym, but try to force yourself to go, that will do nothing to improve your mood. In fact, I've found that forcing myself to do an activity I dislike can have the opposite effect and increase my stress levels. Try to think of an activity that you like to do, like walking, swimming, dancing, yoga, gardening, etc. Another huge way to relieve stress is to make sure you're getting enough sleep. There are countless studies that say how much sleep we're supposed to get each night, but you know your body and how much you need. Establish a regular sleep schedule, even on weekends, and create a relaxing bedtime routine to help you get to sleep faster. You can also try some lifestyle changes, like eating a healthy diet, staying hydrated, and limiting screen time. Ensuring you have downtime is also a good way to manage stress. We all have different ways to recharge our batteries, so be sure you do what works for you and be intentional about making time for it consistently. If you are energized by socializing, make sure you carve out time to socialize with friends and family. If you thrive on being alone, make sure you find time to be alone and do something that rejuvenates you. Try things like going for a walk, reading a book, or engaging in hobbies. Learning to say no is something else that can be helpful with managing stress. It's okay to say no and prioritize your well-being. If you're struggling to manage stress on your own, don't hesitate to seek professional help. A therapist can teach you coping mechanisms and help you address underlying issues that may be contributing to your stress. The most important thing is to find what works best for you. Experiment with different stress management techniques and find the combination that helps you feel calm, centered, and in control. Another obstacle to self-discipline that you might face is distractions. Every day we receive 1,000 pings and beeps and alerts from our devices, tempting us to check them. Social media feeds us with endless content and notifications that pull us away from our tasks. And there are always things that seem like they must be done before we tackle the task in front of us. That's part of the procrastination we talked about. We often use distractions as an excuse for why we're not getting things done. The truth is, we choose to be distracted. It's easier to scroll through social media than it is to focus on a difficult task. That doesn't mean you can never scroll through social media or watch a TV show. It just means you need to set boundaries and prioritize how you spend your time. It's important to recognize these distractions and deal with them in order to stay disciplined. Distractions tend to eat away at your self-discipline rather than destroy it in one fell swoop. Think about it. Every ping or beep requires you to use a small amount of self-discipline. You can't let that happen if you're working on an important task. Alexander Graham Bell said, "Concentrate all your thoughts upon the work at hand. The sun's rays do not burn until brought to a focus. Don't let distractions constantly nip at your self-discipline. Create a distraction-free environment for yourself and give all your focus to the task at hand." you need to silence your distractions. This might mean turning off notifications on your phone, closing unnecessary tabs on your computer, or even finding a quiet place to work, especially if you're working from home. You can try shutting your office door, or if you're at home, going to a different room. You can also try wearing noise-canceling headphones to block out sound distractions. If you're working at home and have family members around during the day, be open with your communication about your need to stay focused during specific hours. Make sure everyone is on the same page about it so there are no miscommunications or hurt feelings in the future. Earlier, we said that self-discipline involves harnessing your thoughts, feelings, and actions toward a specific goal. So what happens when you don't have clear goals to strive for? Your self-discipline can easily falter. Without a clear direction, it's easy to get lost in distractions and lose motivation. You'll find yourself asking why you're doing these things in the first place. Setting clear and achievable goals is crucial for maintaining self-discipline. Whether it's a short-term goal or a long-term one, having something concrete to work towards will help you stay focused and disciplined. It also gives you something to measure your progress against and celebrate once achieved. But don't take it too far. It's also a problem when you set goals that are unrealistic and nearly impossible. For example, let's say you want to lose 50 pounds in a month. While it may be theoretically possible, this goal is not sustainable or healthy. When we set unrealistic expectations for ourselves, we're setting ourselves up for failure. This can lead to feelings of frustration and disappointment, causing us to give up and abandon our efforts towards self-discipline. Setting realistic, achievable goals goes hand in hand with self-discipline. The most disciplined people set realistic goals for themselves and then pursue those goals. Goals give you something to strive for, a target to aim at. They can serve as motivators when you feel like procrastinating or you start to lose focus. However, not all goals are created equal. There are a few secrets to goal setting that can help you to set achievable and realistic goals. First, you must be specific. Instead of saying, "I want to lose weight," say, "I want to lose 10 pounds in the next 3 months." You should know exactly what you want to achieve. There is no room for fuzziness here. Second, make your goals achievable. Setting unrealistic goals can lead to disappointment and a lack of motivation. Start with small attainable goals and gradually work your way up. So instead of saying, "I'm going to write a 50,000-page book in a week," start with, "I'm going to write 10 pages this week." Third, write your goals down. Writing down your goals helps you commit to them and hold yourself accountable. Put them in a place where you'll see them regularly, like on a post-it note stuck to your mirror. Every time you glance at the mirror, you'll be reminded of your goals and inspired to pursue them. Fourth, set a timeline. Having a deadline can help motivate you to stay on track and make progress towards your goal. You'll be amazed at what you can accomplish when facing a deadline. Finally, break your goals down into smaller, more achievable pieces. If your goals are large, you may want to break them down into sub-goals that you can achieve more easily. You still apply all the above principles to your smaller goals, as well as your large goals. It's important to remember that the ultimate goal is to integrate self-discipline into every area of your life. Rather than using it only during specific situations, your entire life can involve self-discipline. With self-discipline, you can achieve almost anything. Want to get healthier? Improve your career? Strengthen your friendships? Self-discipline is the key that opens all the doors. NBA basketball coach Monty Williams said, "Everything you want is on the other side of hard." In other words, you can have anything you want if you're willing to be self-disciplined. That thing you want is out there, just waiting for you to come and take it. Self-discipline will take you there. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today to learn about self-discipline. I truly hope that you found value in this episode and can use it to be more self-disciplined in the future. I'll be back next week with an all-new episode. Don't forget to subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Amazon Music so you never miss an episode. Have a great day.